This is Danny Gilfillan for Seconds Out in Bolton ahead of Lyndon Arthur versus Braian Suarez for the IBO world title. Lyndon, appreciate a bit of your time. I don't want to say we're here because we got here last time and we had a very late opponent change.
Got on the scales last time.
But yeah, looks like touch wood, you're going to get your hands on Braian Suarez. How much are you looking forward to Friday night?
I'm excited. Obviously, like you say, last time we were supposed to fight the day after, and on the scales I found out that something wrong with his medical, but this time I don't think that will happen. I'm excited to get in the ring with him.
Just how much of a curveball was that for you? Obviously, you've got the whole sort of camp preparing for Braian Suarez, and then we had a last-minute change of replacement to Boris Crichton, who's a very tricky fighter, a very difficult fighter to look good against. How difficult was that for you?
It wasn't so much difficult, it was just deflating, more than difficult. It was just deflating. It's just one of them situations. You obviously have to just go with it. But it's one of them things, you're fighting for a version of a world title, and next thing you're fighting a 10-rounder against someone that you know and you sparred before, and last minute opponent, the complete change of styles. So
was the intention always, right, let's get this Braian Suarez fight reorganised as soon as possible, or were you thinking, you know what, if this fella's potentially untrustworthy or potentially flaky, I don't want to know, just...
I don't believe it was his fault. I don't believe it was his fault. But like I said, now the time's here, so...
Just on Braian Suarez, he's obviously not a familiar name to us in the UK, and with sort of South Americans coming over here, really good records, it can be sort of one or two ways. What do you know about him? What does he do well as a fighter? What sort of test are you expecting on Friday night?
Braian is a strong fighter, a lot of knockouts. I expect him to bring his best. This is a world title for him, just as much as it is for me, so I'm expecting the best of Braian Suarez.
Is there a danger for you, because with no disrespect to Braian, you've had bigger nights than this, you've had bigger wins, whereas this will be sort of his world title shot, his undisputed shot. Is there a danger that that hunger, not that he would be more hungry than you, but he's coming over there as a potentially life-changing night for him? Does that add a new element for you to think about?
It's just a fight. Just a fight. I have to win regardless. Whether he's coming for his world title or his first fight, I have to win regardless.
Just on the IBO title on the line, it's not as recognised as WBC, WBO, but a lot of fighters use it as a sort of springboard to get to that level. Are you hoping that belt can get your name back in at the Minx, at the sort of top end of the division?
I'm assuming it will put a little notch on it, most definitely.
Just on the sort of landscape at the top of light heavyweight, we've had this ruling from the WBC that Bivol will not be allowed to fight for their title on account of being Russian. That seems to put to bed any chance of it. But Bivol won't be allowed to fight for the WBC held by Beterbiev because he's Russian. Even though Beterbiev's Russian, he's counted as a Canadian citizen. So basically there's no chance of an undisputed fight happening as long as Bivol has the belt. Just what do you make, Sega? Because the WBC won't allow him to fight for the title. Yeah. So the sort of the stagnation that's happening at the top of the division, and again it's holding back the careers of fighters like yourself. Just what do you make of that?
Well, I didn't know about it until you just told me, but that's crazy, I never knew. It's not fair, because we should see an undisputed fight. Especially with them two, they're top of the tree at the moment, so why not see them two fight? It's a bit of a shit one, really, isn't it? As a fan of boxing, it's a bit of a shit one.
It's one of the best fights to be made in the sport. But anyway, there's a big domestic light heavyweight fight. Joshua Buatsi, Dan Aziz. You're obviously one of the top names domestically in the division. I know you're a fighter who never likes to look past what's in front of him, but have you got half an eye on potentially the winner or even the loser of that fight?
I'll 1,000,000% be watching the fight. 1,000,000%. Good luck to both men.
I watched your reaction to the Daniel Dubois, Oleksandr Usyk low blow situation, and you described it as a bit of a sticky one. Now, me personally, my opinion on it changes every time I see a different angle or someone gives me a new definition of a low blow that I didn't hear. What as we sit here today, what's your current thoughts? Was Daniel Dubois hard done by, or was it low?
I don't know. Like I said, the first time I said it, you get hit here from a heavyweight. You get hit in that region from a heavyweight boxer. It's going to hurt. It might have hit his balls a little bit. I don't know the way that Usyk was shaking on the floor, his hand was shaking like that. That's a stomach ache from being hit like that. If you've ever been hit there like that, you know the feeling. You know what I mean, you've been hit nearly like that. So it was low. It was lowish. It was lowish.
So Frank Warren's obviously came out, as you can imagine. He's not happy. He's called Usyk a cheat. Do you subscribe to that, or do you think it was just a case of Usyk was sort of being the sort of crafty veteran that he is and taking as much time as possible?
Yeah, because I also do believe that if they would have started counting, if the ref would have started counting him, I do believe that he would have got up and finished the round. Whether we had to survive the round because he had to get to the thing to get another minute. I believe he would have got through the round anyway. What would have happened anyway.
Last thing I want to talk to you about, Lyndon, and I hate to end on like a sort of downer, but it feels every week, I think it literally has been every week this month, there's been a different fighter who's failed a performance-enhancing drugs test. Just from a fighter's point of view, does it make you sort of wonder like how many of these men are on it, like what's going on sort of thing? Talk to me about it.
I don't even pay attention. As long as I'm not taking nothing, that's all I care about.
And just very, very last one, what sort of, I know obviously it's for the sort of big heads in boxing, but what decisions or what steps could be taken to sort of try and eradicate this from the sport? Because I've got a couple of like so-called casual friends, and the only time they see boxing in the news now is about performance-enhancing drugs cases, and it feels as if the reputation of the sport's just sort of in the mud at the minute.
I don't know, because you say drug test, but people are taking them and they're getting caught. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, it obviously needs to be clamped down. I don't know. Constant drugs, but it's all happening. Even what I'm going to say is all happening. So I don't know, man.
I think we're sort of all in the same boat. Lyndon, I'll leave the final message to you, just a message to the fans for a big fight for you on Friday night.
Yeah, man, tune in. It's going to be a great night of boxing.
Lyndon Arthur, thanks very much.
Thank you.